Great, you're here. Now that you're here, let us put things into quick perspective. Think about this. Michael Jordan, for basically all of NBA history for the 2000s era in general, he has just been known as the greatest shooting guard of all time and no doubt the greatest player of all time in general. But if you take his talents to the Charlotte Hornets, of him being the owner of the Hornets, he has this bad reputation of him being a horrible owner for the Charlotte Hornets franchise throughout this whole last decade and recent decades to come. And now the Charlotte Hornets are looking like they're setting their future up for greatness. So is that narrative about Michael Jordan, about him being a horrible owner, gonna change? Let's find out in the next few years if the Hornets become a great team one of these days. Yes, you guys guessed it, your boy Eli Fa's back with another video, and obviously this video is gonna be about the Charlotte Hornets franchise. So directly on Super Bowl day, I posted a video about the Charlotte Hornets team in general, but the thing about this video that makes it so special is the fact that it was only pertaining towards one player that is present on this team, and that player goes by the name of Gordon Hayward. And the thing that makes Gordon Hayward such a significant figure this season alone is the fact that before this season even began, people were doubting Gordon Hayward to be a respectable, decent player coming into this season, playing for the Charlotte Hornets for his first season ever in his whole career. Basically, the Charlotte Hornets has granted Gordon Hayward with a huge contract, and people were basically denying the fact that Gordon Hayward deserved that huge contract in general. But the moral of the story for that specific situation is the fact that Gordon Hayward is currently exceeding expectations thus far, and the Charlotte Hornets low-key, they have a plethora of young pieces surrounding around Gordon Hayward, and they potentially have a young rising star that could be a very great superstar in the league come in the future, and that goes by the name of Lamelo Ball. Yes, Lamelo Ball is definitely the real deal for the future of this NBA league, ladies and gentlemen, and the Charlotte Hornets have struck gold drafting Lamelo Ball as the third overall pick within the 2020-21 NBA draft. But before we continue with today's video, I just want to ask you guys for a quick favor, and that is to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It would be highly appreciated. But other than that, let us start today's video. Fun fact, did you know Lamelo Ball is currently leading all current rookies in literally every single stat category except for blocks? He is literally leading in points scored, assists made, rebounds grabbed, and steals received. And even without bringing stats to the equation, it is simply clear as day that Lamelo Ball has severely adjusted to the NBA professional setting in such a short amount of time. And he is currently favored to be granted with the 2020-21 Rookie of the Year award. Now, for some of you guys, it may not be as much of a surprise that Lamelo Ball has adjusted himself within this NBA setting within a short amount of time, because we have already experienced players like Donovan Mitchell, LeBron James, Jason Tatum, Zion Williamson, and so on literally play like they are NBA veterans only in their rookie seasons. So, if you take a look at the Charlotte Hornets circumstances, obviously they aren't a team ready to compete for an NBA championship. Like, that should be blatantly obvious as well. So, their goal as of right now is to bring in as much young talent as they can in order to complement their future positively. And they currently have players such as, obviously, Lamelo Ball, Terry Rozier, PJ Washington, Malik Monk, and so on, who are all relatively young players, some older than others, that are playing respectable basketball this season. And there is a great chance that maybe one of these years, one of these young players other than Lamelo Ball can break out to all of a sudden become an all-star caliber player, just as how we witnessed Pascal Siakam improve drastically in a span of a single offseason, winning him the Most Improved Player award for the 2018-19 season. And then you analyze the type of veteran players that they currently have on the roster. The roster consists of a few veterans, but it is no doubt that Gordon Hayward is the veteran that withholds the most impact. Gordon Hayward fits in with the role of being a player that will provide consistent mentorship for the younger individuals, and he himself can play basketball at an all-star caliber level. In my perspective, if a team has a combination of young assets who are showing glimpses that they can be great in the future, and veterans who already have the experience and can play great basketball themselves, it is almost certain that the team might have something great coming for them, correct? Now, as I make this statement, I am completely aware that things may not go according to plan, and there is a huge chance that an experiment similar to the Charlotte Hornets isn't always guaranteed to work out. Now, this goes as far to mention the fact that players may have a great season for one season alone all at the same exact time, and then the next season they completely fall off and they eventually end up being traded due to their disappointment for the future of the team. But at the end of the day, thinking about it, every single NBA team will have to go through a process similar to this, revolving around acquiring young assets to complement their future, and it is almost like the NBA team is praying for these players to pan out well for their future. Now, it makes things interesting for the NBA world in general because you will obviously have teams that are obvious contenders, and then you will have other teams who you would least expect suddenly become a great playoff team because of the young players within that team taking their game to the next level. Now, we could potentially see this possible outcome for the Charlotte Hornets if everything goes according to plan. Obviously, Gordon Hayward is getting up there in age and he will soon not be within his prime anymore. He will be staying with the Charlotte Hornets franchise long term since he signed a 4-year deal. Once it becomes clear that Hayward isn't within his prime, it is almost certain that Lamelo Ball will break out to become the next face for this team's organization. Lamelo Ball is destined for greatness. Within my personal experiences, I have tuned into a large amount of Hornets games because of my desire to watch Lamelo Ball's immaculate play style. He is a point guard with great height and he can facilitate effectively, and he is a three-point sniper. He even shows glimpses of athleticism on occasion. Comparing Lamelo Ball's circumstances towards Donovan Mitchell within his rookie season, Mitchell was viewed as a player who will be a superstar caliber player within this league's future, and he is currently playing very immaculate basketball for the Utah Jazz, and he is now no doubt the first option for this team. And we even got to witness what Donovan Mitchell is capable of within playoff scenarios. If the Charlotte Hornets make the playoffs this season and Lamelo Ball is able to elevate his game within the playoffs, that should be the ceiling factor for Lamelo Ball's success within this league's future. On the other hand, the Charlotte Hornets must continue to play their role effectively when it comes to developing Lamelo Ball. The reason as to why I say this is because, in my personal opinion, I feel like the Hornets team wasn't doing a great job with complementing Lamelo Ball's game earlier this season. Once upon a time, he was coming off of the bench, causing him to play less minutes as what a starting player would receive, obviously. Now, if you acquire a young player within a caliber of great projection, it is your job to develop that player as much as possible, considering that you are playing not for winning a championship as soon as possible, but for the future. And having that young player that fits within that criteria come off of the bench may not be the best decision. When Devontae Graham comes back from injury, I better not see Lamelo Ball categorized as a bench player again for Graham to play within the starting lineup. Now, before I conclude today's video, I just want to end it off on this note. Now, I don't know about you guys, but me personally, I really enjoy speculating teams that has a circumstance of them rebuilding for the future and they potentially having a great projection of being a great team when it comes for the NBA league's future in general. Obviously, there are a few teams that are currently contending for an NBA championship. They are not playing for the future. They are trying to win as of right now. And obviously speaking, thinking about that circumstance, those teams aren't going to be contenders for that long. They're eventually going to be falling off as their players get older and as they lose pieces after piece. And eventually the teams that are currently rebuilding in the future, they're going to possibly be a great team. And eventually those rebuilding teams are going to be clear contenders, and maybe they're going to be the next big thing in the NBA world. Basically, the moral of the story is the fact that speculating these different types of rebuilding teams gives you a glimpse as to what you may see as an NBA fan within the league's future. And the Charlotte Hornets in particular, they have a great player, young asset in Lamelo Ball that is destined for greatness. But other than that, that will conclude today's video. Make sure you guys like this video and subscribe to the channel. I will greatly appreciate it. I'm out. Peace.